So last week, 300 over quarterlies were announced. Now fast forward 1 week later, the number is now 956. The number of companies making losses actually dropped a bit, right? Last week was about half were making losses, and today only about 28%. Let's call it 30%. Too busy to find stock ideas? Check out Fire Pro to shortcut your research time and effort by 90%. 10% off link in the comments and description. What maintained was that half the earnings are still about negative year on year, at least negative growth, and then only a fifth declared dividends, and less than 1% of companies paid more than EPF.
Yep. So that's a simple breakdown for the entire quarterlies. Not to say, I will say it's like 90%, 90 to 95% of the quarterlies for this first quarter of 2025. Okay, so a few companies that we're going to be sharing you guys that we think that is interesting. Obviously, this is the part 2 series, and the first one is MN Holding Berhad. So if you actually track this company since IPO, the company's share price actually went up a lot, about 706% in just a span of 4 years. And then you can see that the CAGR terms is like 109%. This is like the best performing stock, I would say, in Bursa Malaysia. And if you want to know why they've been doing so well, it's thanks to because of the renewable energy initiative, the NETR, and also the data center. So these two kind of like boosted a lot of these utility guys like Tenaga to spend more money in terms of improving and also expanding their substations to cater for more power generations. So you can see that, quarter on quarter, the numbers just like skyrocket like that. That's why the share price also skyrocket. It's actually like similar to like that kind of like a growth already. So if you can look at the earnings and also the revenue is like growing at double digit. So you can see that the main one that is contributing the most is actually coming from substation engineering.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that is basically one of their business model. They do some sort of underground utilities engineering and also do some substation for Tenaga and other big power utilities guys. So the main one obviously is still the power jet. That is one that is contributing a lot in terms of their revenue. Now the second company over here, it is GDB. So this GDB, it is a property development company slash construction kind of like company, and it also have been recovering a lot. You can see that from 2023 in just a span of 2 years, it's up 153%. And if you look at the previous peak, it's actually around like 40 to 60 cents share. And later we look at the numbers, whether they can recover back. But anyway, for the 2-year CAGR is 60%. So you can see that the margins right now, net margins over here, that one that is highlighted in the previous 3 quarters is at double digit. So it's around like 10 to 15%. And if you look at the previous year's quarterlies, right, it's all like 3%, 4%. So that tells you that there's some sort of recovery in terms of either their business or maybe they managed to complete more projects that was previously gotten delayed. Later, we're going to look at some of the comments about the quarter, inside what they say inside the quarterly. So you can see that their 1 quarter for financial year 2025 is already going to like surpass almost like most of these 1 year time frame for all of these financial years. So previously, they make about 25 to 28 million. So this 1 quarter is already 19.8. It's like 20 million already. So that tells you that the next few quarterlies maybe is going to be even better. So yeah, this one maybe you can like pay attention to this company's progress. So you can see that this is their comments for each of the quarterlies. Previously, why they were suffering is because number one, a lot of the cost was quite high because of the COVID time. There was a MCO, which is the movement conditional control order. Yeah. So there's some sort of restriction movement that they cannot really operate, and then there's a lot of high costs involved. So right now you can say that 2024's number is where they start to recover. And also, at least the cost is not so as high, and they managed to complete the project as well, and they got a lot of money back. And then on top of that, they also are constructing these few little projects, which is KL International Hospital in Bukit Jalil, and also a logistic hub in Shah Alam. And this is still in early stages for quarter G 2024. Then quarter 4, more money come from these previous 2 projects. And then they also subsequently secure a new project, which is Metro Hub 4 Logistic Hub in Klang. So they have been getting a lot of contracts recently, which also tells you like, and also has been progressing quite well. So it tells you that, cash flows wise, everything is pretty much very good. And then for quarter 1, They basically got more contributions from these three projects. So GDB is also something that is pretty interesting, although it is like a very, very, I would say it's not to our liking kind of like sector, which is the property development slash construction sector. But then this tells you that, even these kind of sectors also can make money if they are actually doing well. And the next one, it is Versatile Creative Berhad. This one is something that we also shared and we talked among our research team as well about this company. And if you look at since 2020's bottom, it's up 300%, and that's a 30% 5-year CAGR. And if you look at the numbers also, has been very, very good. Previously, they have been like loss making. Right now, you can see that quarter on quarter, they are starting to make profits, although it's like still very tiny margins, about 1 to 2%. But profit is still a profit. Now, why they are so good, or why share price rally, and why they are trading at 25 times PE, right? It's because of this business
NSK.
segment. Yes, SK. And we just shopped there recently.
Yeah. I think the impression we got was very, very like the options are massive. Right?
Yes, it's massive. And then
I'm not sure about quality, I have to be honest.
Exactly.
But the options are massive.
Yeah, the cleanliness, the quality. This one is not sure. But then when we were there, there was a lot of people like shopping over there.
Yeah, prices are good, options are good, quality is a question mark. I don't know about the cleanliness, as in we didn't experience anything very dirty.
Correct. But it's just the vibe
It's no village grocer or giant grocer in that sense.
Exactly. So you can see that their grocery segment also revenues and earnings are improving a lot. Its profits actually doubled from 7 million to about 17.7 million. And also the company also stated that they're going to be opening more outlets in this, similar to whether it's in 99 Speed Mart, Eco Shop, or Mr. DIY, this kind of like grocery retail kind of like business. And then since they have like their own NSK, so that's why they're also being valued at this PE valuation. Now, next one, this is for dividend lovers, which is 6 to 7% dividend yielder by Kumpulan Fima Berhad. This is a very, very boring company. If you look at since like 2009, it only went up, I would say, just 2.5 times each for many, many years. And if you look at the recent 2 years, it's up like 45.76%. And if you look at the dividends, obviously you will like it since 2021 because they have been giving out more money to the minority shareholders and also to the rest of the shareholders as well. And if you look at the numbers, also have been very, very decent for financial year 2025. In fact, I think this is the largest all-time high for Kumpulan Fima. Why? It's because of plantation. They have an upstream plantation in Indonesia, a lot of it in Indonesia and also in Malaysia itself. I can look at the earnings and also the revenue has been improving a lot. And then also they have other business segment which is growing well, which is their food segment. So if you guys didn't know, they actually manufacture and distribute this tuna / sardine kind of like product called Besta. And Besta is just one of their flagship product. There's also other brands as well, other tuna brands. And also there's another business segment which is bulking. Even though the revenue dropped a little bit, but their profit actually improved quite substantially, which is about like 30% up. Maybe they like managed to sold something, or maybe they managed to cut some costs. So overall, this is a very, very steady kind of like growth for Kumpulan Fima. So if you are a dividend lover, make sure to check out this company. Now, I think we are coming to the end already. The last one is Hardini Holdings Berhad. This is also a tiny rebound since the February 2025 tank. So it's up like 25%. Now, what's surprisingly is that their revenue and also their profit actually improve a lot. So if you look at previous quarter threes, right, it's actually like quite small, but right now it's like improving quite substantially, especially their profit, because usually quarter three is the period where they actually pay out a lot of bonus for their employees. So if you see, right, quarter three over here, quarter two, quarter three, it dropped. Then over here, quarter two, quarter three, it dropped. But this one, it went up a lot. So which means that sales are good, operations are good, even though there's a bonus payment, but they managed to keep their costs low and hence the profit is increasing. And yeah, it's basically like recovering. And I think the next quarter, once it's out, I think their revenue might be an all-time high already.
I mean, based on the pace.
Yeah,
right?
based on the pace.
Because
yes,
it's 500 billion per quarter, right?
500 million, per quarter.
500 million, sorry.
Yeah,
yes. So,
it's going to be like a 2 billion. So, yeah.
The all-time high. Yeah.
Yep, pretty good for Padi.
Although you can see, right, even though it hits all-time high, it's would you say it's likely to beat, like, let's say, like the profits of 2018, 2019?
This one is really need to see. It really depends because quarter two and quarter three is mainly because one is the December kind of like festive season. Quarter 3 is because of Raya, because of CNY. Then quarter 4 most likely is going to be like a muted kind of like.
So you can see that what has happened is actually, even though let's say the profit matches 2019 or 2018 and the revenue goes beyond 2 billion, right? That is actually evidence that the quality of the business has actually shrunk. Because by right, if you have higher revenue, there should be accompanying higher profits as well. Or at least the margins, right, should maintain. But you see here at 2018, even if it matches, the 2018 will have achieved 178, let's say 180 million on sales of 1.7. Whereas for Dini to achieve that, the same profit, they have to hit 2 billion. In other words, over time, they've added 300 million in costs.
Yes.
And so although we can be excited about the revenue, think of it like a business owner's perspective, right? The quality of the business has actually dropped.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to figure out like why it has dropped. Could it be competition? Could it be
maybe they incur more costs in terms of hiring, or maybe more
minimum
cost
wage,
of goods
maybe
will go up.
yes,
the
correct.
raw
Cotton
material
prices, things like that. So are these things likely to change? The way I see it, the only way out of this is that they can really reclaim back their old branding. It's not to say that their branding is bad now, right? Whether it's VG or Brands Outlet or Pardini itself, but you can tell, right? There's options that people have.
Yeah,
I think that's the big culprit.
Yeah, that's the downside of like some sort of retail business. The branding itself and also the quality and pricing is very important. There's a lot of like things they need to consider and they need to maintain and control in order to grow their profitability. It's not a very, very easy business. It's a very tough one. Okay, so this is our overall thoughts about the quarterlies. So the overall statistic is actually similar to quarter 3 and quarter 4 2024's number. So if you notice, right, the 50% drop in terms of like year-on-year earnings, 30% in terms of losses, 20% in terms of dividend payout is actually very similar for quarter 3, quarter 4. So this tells you that, there's only just like those few companies that is actually really making money and also giving out dividends. Second thing is potentially there will be more MACC cases that's evolving. I mean, if you read the news, right, I think at least there's 1 or 2 every single day of MACC case. Yeah, I'm not sure whether you guys notice this or not. And then the second thing is that probably there will be some sort of delisting and privatization more of companies will be reporting soon. So the first one, obviously, we know FGV is going to be taking private by Felda at 1 ringgit 30 cents. Previously, I think in 2018 or 2020, they tried to like privatize at this price also, but it failed. Right now, they're trying again. So we shall see whether they can succeed or not. And then the second company over here, this one is an odd one because Baraka's numbers was actually pretty decent. And they can actually like ask the Bursa to actually uplift their delisting PN17, but then they don't want to. So they say they want to be delisted lah. They don't want to operate already. So yeah, I mean, minority shareholders most definitely will be hurt a lot. Majority shareholders, maybe they will be benefiting because of this delisting. And if you actually read Baraka's numbers, right, they are in a net cash position. And also, I think their cash flow also is a slightly little bit negative, but it's still bearable. And then, yeah, all of the assets basically is going to go back to the major shareholders. Okay, the last but not least is, I think we covered this.
Yeah.
Yep, we covered this in our previous video, or the part 1 already. We already mentioned that our expectation for the remaining quarterlies for this particular first quarter will be quite bad. And then we also think quarter 2 will be challenging because tariff and also currency strengthening. Right now, ringgit is strengthening a lot. I think it's around 4 ringgit and 20 cents each already against the USD. And also, I think this is a time period where more companies are actually, or at least their customers are holding back in terms of their capex spending, and they are really doing like the wait and see approach. So you can kind of expect some sort of weakness moving forward for quarter 2. Quarter 3, I think this one we still don't know yet. We still need to see what is the Fed's, whether rate cut or not, or whether there will be more intensified in terms of the trade war against the rest of the world, whether it's China or Malaysia or whatnot. So yeah, that's about it for today's video. And just to show you guys on FirePro's performance.
Slightly up in May.
Yes, unfortunately, there was a period of time where it went up to 37, 38%, but then it went back down again to 34.9% because some of the companies actually didn't really reported great stuff. And if you want to know what are the names behind this Fire Pro, we do disclose them inside the program itself.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a tough time for some of our portfolio. Even one of my holdings also has not been doing so well. And if you want to know what are our updates, we also do tell you guys if let's say we decided to like dispose of or buy a new company inside it. We want to be transparent with you guys, and also we want you guys to keep us accountable so that you guys know what are our movements. So yeah, and if you are dividend lovers also, you can check out the borrowing portfolio. Right now, the dividend yield is about 6.06%. And if you want to know more about Fire Pro, you can read it inside our free sample. There is 2 write-ups. One is Delium, the other one is KGB. So just to give you a context, this is where we actually initiated and wrote Delium's write-up. And this is where we sold almost the peak lah. And yeah, so you can actually check it out over there. And we also did post SIB, one of our SIB videos, which is on Mood. So if you want to know about it, it is also free inside. And we also posted 3 management notes inside this free sample just for you guys to know how we run Fire Pro. Right. So that's about it for today's video. See you guys next week.